Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter, Steven, and Shane. Say what up, guys.
Hello.
What's up, nerds?
Welcome back to another episode of Commander Grades. That's right. We're finally here. We're doing the multicolored legendary creatures. If you guys haven't already seen the other episodes, check the description down below. Click those links. Check out the grades for those other legends. But this is the multicolored spells. Hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. So let's kick it off with this first Bloomburrow card. It is Alania Divergent Storm. It's 3, a blue, and a red for a 3/5 legendary creature, Otter Wizard. It says whenever you cast a spell, if it's the first instant spell, the first sorcery spell, or the first otter spell other than Alania you've cast this turn, you may have target opponent draw a card. If you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Is this good, Steven?
No.
It's a copy commander that gives card draw to your opponent, and is it? Which is so weird.
Very weird.
It's just gonna get too expensive too quickly.
Yeah, it does start off at 5. Helping your opponents. Like, there are just so many other commanders that do the copy shenanigans that don't give your opponents cards.
And are cheaper.
Yeah.
The really cool thing about this card, you can at least do it 3 copies a turn if you have 1 instant, 1 sorcery, and 1 otter.
I'll draw 3 cards, sure.
Exactly. Whatever your opponent is. You can spread the love, 1 to each opponent.
Yeah. I am going to say it, Hunter. This is probably better than the 99 of a Bria, which we'll get to soon.
Oh, spoilers.
Whoa.
I don't know. Alania seems pretty okay.
It's expensive, dude. Like Steven said.
Is it?
Yeah. I get that it's
Get
is
it?
it. Is that what you said? Yeah, I know, yeah.
Why is it expensive?
Because, like Steven already alluded to it, 5 mana dies, 7 mana dies. Like, it's just like,
Come on, dude. We can't use the data removal thing all
I
the
didn't
time.
say dies removal. I said it's expensive. Those are different arguments. Every commander dies removal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a
No,
5
but
mana commander turns into a 7 mana commander super quick.
however, a 7 mana instant or sorcery or something like that for your opponent to draw 1 card to copy it seems pretty good.
Yeah, I will. You're right.
I mean,
Free spells are
sure,
good.
yeah. If I'm spending 12 mana the turn this comes down, I better win the game.
Yeah.
Depends. Depends on what else you put in the deck. Could be other threats that your opponents want to remove besides this. Threat assessment.
I see where you're getting at. I'm still gonna say that I'm putting it in the 99 as a helper.
Let's move on to the grades. I will kick us off because even though I was devil's advocate, I still think it's middle of the road. It's a C.
I'll give it a C as well.
My soul says give it a D, but it does still function on its own, so I'll give it a C.
All right. Alania, Divergent Storm, gets the average grade of a C. Moving on, we have Baylen, the Haymaker. It is a red, green, white for a 4/3 legendary creature, Rabbit Warrior. It has an ability group that says tap 2 untapped tokens you control, add 1 mana of any color. Tap 3 untapped tokens you control, draw a card. Tap 4 untapped tokens you control. Put 3+1/+1 counters on Baylen the Haymaker. It gains trample till end of turn. This card is nuts.
Very versatile, dude. Because it's any tokens, right? Not just like token creatures.
Any kind of tokens.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, dude.
Yeah, I'll tap my 3 food to draw a card. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. It'll help you cast some bigger boys for the mana dork. Like, it turns tokens into mana dorks, kind of.
Naya tokens, man. This is an all-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good card.
Yeah, it just seems like I get like versatile. Does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go. Just the amount there's so much token generation in these colors specifically. Like you'll have all the token doublers in these colors too. It's just card is going to go off. You're going to win the game.
Yeah, if you have
I'm here for it.
Baylen unblocked, you can just surprise one turn kill somebody. I guess I wouldn't be
That's-
surprised. I see the tokens. They probably see the writing on the wall.
I mean, the whole deck is going to be just tokens, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Crazy.
I like
I
that the
like it.
abilities are all instant speed too. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do it whenever you want.
Yep.
You got anything to add there, Steven?
No, good card, good.
Good card, good. Let's move on to the grades. Steven, what are you giving it?
I'll give it a B.
I too will give Baylen a B.
I'm gonna move up one. I'm gonna give him an A.
Whoa. All right. Baylen the Haymaker. It's the average grade of a B. Next up is Bria Riptide Rogue, 2 blue red, 3/3 legendary creature otter rogue. It's got prowess, and it says other creatures you control have prowess. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. This is
Dumb.
this is crazy because you can
Dumb.
only get this in the starter deck, which I also think is pretty nuts. It's a good card.
At least that means it's guaranteed.
You guaranteed to go get it. Go buy the deck.
When this was first spoiled, dude, I wanted to build it so bad. A nuts spellslinger prowess deck that gives your creatures unblockable. Like what? There's too many lines of text here.
Just whole team prowess is always great.
Agreed.
What do we think, Steven?
I mean, prowess creatures are always good, and then especially when you can make tokens, I think it's going to be a solid card.
Yeah.
You're in the colors to cast a bunch of spells.
And
Yeah.
otters, you're gonna put in that first card we talked about. Like I said, seems pretty good, Hunter. You said no.
Yes. I'm going to say prowess otters seems pretty solid. There's a lot of good otters in Is It that came from this set specifically that can really make this thing go crazy. I mean,
Yeah, I want to build this.
there's a deck in standard right now that's kind of with that, what is it? Bane Splitter otter thing. I can't remember what it was.
Sure.
What's it
Yeah,
called?
that one.
It's called Storm Splitter. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah, you can win off 5 spells.
Yeah, because you can keep casting things with Convoke, and then they just get bigger because they have prowess, and then untap everything with blue. I don't know. This is nuts, man. This card's really good.
Big fan. Big fan.
Big fan. Let's go ahead and move on to the grades. What are you giving it, Steven?
I'll give it a B.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go up. I'm gonna give this an A.
I'm going up, dude. I'm all on board for Otters A.
I want to see you build it.
I will.
Okay. The average grade for Bria Riptide Rogue is an A. Moving on to a rabbit named Byrke. That's Long Ear of the Law. 4 green, white, 4/4 legendary creature Rabbit Soldier. It's got vigilance and it says when it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. And whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counter on it.
I mean, this is your card, right, Hunter?
I am the +1/+1 counter guy. I do the +1/+1 counter thing, except this is a very expensive card to do the thing that I want to do. And I'm probably throwing this into another deck that's kind of supporting it.
What do you mean, Hunter? This is only 1 more mana than that otter that you said was great.
Wait.
What, the 5 mana
The otter copied spells. That's really cool.
I'm just talking about the
This is
CMC.
putting counters, doubling counters, and that's cool. But I'm just saying, this is 6 mana to do that. It's not gonna be my commander. It's gonna go into a deck.
Got it. All right, that's where we draw the line. Okay.
We're drawing the line there.
Okay.
This is not as powerful for me because it doesn't seem that good. Granted, I will say, when this enters, it gives counters to something, and this doesn't need to attack to give double the counters. The
Yeah.
things that have counters get the double counters, which is very cool. This kind of reminds me of like Sovereign Oganek Ahu. I did a deck tech on that a long time ago. Kind of similar thing where that had to attack and it doubled the counters. So this is kind of opposite. It's cool, but it's not for me.
Yeah, it's slow. It's a helper.
It is a helper.
I mean, it's basically meant for a more low power style for sure. I think the only thing that's kind of redeeming about this is obviously since it is so expensive, you are using those turns before you play this card to pump all your creatures with those +1/+1 counters So that way you're not just giving something an extra 1.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where this card benefits the most, but it's still 6 mana.
Plus, you're in
Yeah.
green. Steven loves saying it. Ramp into it.
Ramp
No,
it, Steven. Ramp it.
not here.
Not
Oh, yeah,
here.
okay.
Let's go ahead and move on to the grades. Steven, what are you giving it?
We give this a C.
Oh, interesting. It's gonna be weird to say, but I'll stick with it. It's gonna be a C.
The turmoil, dude. All
The
right.
turmoil was real.
I'll help you, Hunter.
Okay.
I'm giving it a D.
All right. Well, the average grade for Byrke is a C. Moving on to Camellia, the Seedmiser. It's 1 black green for a 3/3 legendary creature, Squirrel Warlock. It's got menace and it says other squirrels you control have menace. And whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. You also pay 2 forage. Put a +1/+1 counter on each other squirrel you control. If you wanted a reminder to forage, exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food. Is this a really good squirrel commander?
Not
I think-
Chatterfang, so
I mean,
no.
no, it's not Chatterfang, but like this is a squirrel deck that this could be the only squirrel because it makes the squirrels. You know what I mean? Like this could be David's deck where they say it's their kindred, but yet this is the only thing making the kindred. So I mean, I like
That's
that.
true.
I like cards that can do the thing themselves and then they benefit off of what they create. So that's cool.
I will say, however, you are going to make a ton of foods in this deck. You have
Yeah.
to, right?
You have to, yeah.
This has to be a food deck.
I would imagine. But I
I
mean,
don't know.
foraging seems really easy to do. Only 1 food
yeah.
to sacrifice? That's pretty good.
You pay to sacrifice 1 food. When you sacrifice the 1 food, you make a 1/1 squirrel, and then you can put a +1/+1 counter on that squirrel.
Yeah. Do you do this like one at a time? Would you like sack a food, sack a food? So would you make 2 squirrels? Oh, unless it's 1 or more. Never mind.
I mean, if you sack multiple at once, it happens.
it.
But if you
Yeah.
sack trigger, then it would make 2.
But I think the forage. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So technically, yes. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It's still not my favorite squirrel commander, Steven. You kind of yelled it out. I don't think anything is going to beat good old. Wow, I just Chatterfang. But this is definitely a lane to go with squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably going in Chatterfang because it is a squirrel. But I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
I'm here for it.
Let's move on to the grades. Shane, what are you giving it?
I said I'm here for it, but I'm still going to give it middle of the road. C.
I, too, am giving Camellia a C.
Triple C's.
Triple C's for the C. That is Camellia. Gets the average of a C. Moving on to Clement, the Worrywort. It's 1 green blue for a 3/3 legendary creature frog druid. It's got a vigilance and it says whenever it or another creature you control enters, return up to 1 target creature you control with lesser mana value to its owner's hand. It also says frogs you control have tap, add, green or blue, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. That seems good, Mr. Simic Shane.
I love it, dude. I think I said it when we just talked about the spoiler, like the thematic theme. That's a dumb way to say it. Sorry. Frogs, they seem really cool because they're going to hop in and then they're going to hop out. And then now they tap for mana. Like, I'm a big fan of this card too.
Yeah, I think you get Clement down with a bunch of frogs. If you're going frog kindred, obviously, you're going to be making a ton of mana.
Hell yeah.
And a ton of frogs, and then you're just going to bounce you're just going to be hopping in and out of the battlefield like crazy. And all those triggers of like drawing cards, and it'll go nuts.
Yeah, it's very like Cloudstone Curio kind of feels to it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Would you play it though, Steven?
Absolutely not.
Is this not your style of deck, or
You
know
like
you like
memes.
Simic.
This is the meme right here, dude.
Oh, there you go.
I
frog
mean,
meme.
I like it because it just screams ETBs.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not too familiar with the frogs that came in the Simic kind of style for these decks. So I haven't really seen it. I don't. Out of all the cards that came out of Bloomburrow, this was not one that I looked at more than right now.
I understand. This also means though that all of your shapeshifters tap for mana too. That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. Let's move on to the grades. Shane, you seem the highest on the old Simic frogs.
I am. I don't know, like Steven alluded to, how much the support is for the frogs there. I'm still gonna be middle of the road for it, but in the future, could get better. I'm giving it a C.
Yeah, in the future, I could see this being a little better, but right now, I too am just giving it middle of the road C from my point of view.
Yeah, I'll give it a C as well.
Clement gets the average grade of a C. Next up is Finneas, Ace Archer. It's just green-white for a 2/2 legendary creature, Rabbit Archer. It's got vigilance, it's got reach, and it says whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. That's a token or a rabbit. Then, if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater, draw a card. Similar
Holy
to the
hoops,
last
Batman.
card. Similar to the last card, this is definitely a kindred deck revolving specifically just around rabbits and maybe tokens,
I'll
actually.
say, or just tokens.
Yeah, tokens and these colors is also very doable. Yeah, it's a bummer that this doesn't have haste. I run this card in a rabbit standard deck at the moment, and I feel like I always wanted to have haste
I mean,
because they kill it, and I don't get to get the counters on all of my stuff.
yeah.
But when it does go off, it is really cool to give everything counters and then draw a card.
Yeah, this seems like it has to be like a either you put in some like other evasion on this with unblockable or something, but like having your commander always need to be attacking is scary because that just means your
But
commander is gonna die.
especially when it's
I mean, I
just
think
a
that's
2/2.
why this card sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no other evasion. It has to attack. Granted, it's just 2 mana, but it's still just a 2/2.
Yeah.
So unless you're giving this unblockable or protection from the 3 other colors with like Commander's Plate, it's dead in the water.
Or hear me
Dead
out.
in the water.
It is 2 mana, so once you brought that up, that kind of made me think it's a rabbit. It's gonna be hopping in and out. It's gonna attack. It's gonna die. It's gonna hop out. Then you're gonna pay 4 now. Hop back in. At least those are on
Yep.
attack triggers, dude, not on damage triggers.
Well, yeah, go ahead and get Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots and protect it and give it a
Yeah.
haste as well and do the cool thing. And don't get me wrong, I think this card is very cool. Once again, +1/+1 counter. I ran into the same issue, bringing this up again, but Sarvan Oganek Ahu. I really wanted to swing right away. And if you're not swinging right away with your commander, then it's a bummer. But the good news is with this one, it does come down very early.
Super
This will
early.
come down turn 2. Your
Yeah.
opponents probably won't interact with this right away.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be getting counters quickly. However, it's a bummer it doesn't give itself counters.
I was gonna say, not itself though.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to the grades. I'll kick us off. Finneas for me is getting once again a C.
Not from me. It's getting a D.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to give it a C, but I think I'm gonna go to a D as well.
Well, Finneas Ace Archer gets the average grade of a D. Next up is the box topper. That's right, it's Flubs, the Fool. It's green, blue, red for a 0/5 legendary creature, Frog Scout. It says you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and it also says whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card if you have no cards in your hand. Otherwise, discard a card. This is for the memes, but we also built this on our channel. If you guys wanted to see a deck tech revolving around Flubs, David went ahead and made that. Couldn't be here today to talk about it, but once again, check the description for that video. I did say for the memes though, Steven. What do you think?
It's an A.
It's an A. Why is it an A?
Oh, sorry. I just thought we were talking about the grades. Simple, man. It's 3 mana. It's a 0/5. Doesn't really have to attack. Just got to play it. This is a landfall deck, or if you want to do some fun shenanigans with like madness because you're discarding a card, I think this This is a fantastic deck.
Hmm.
I really do love it with all my heart. It's got the best colors for everything I want to do. I fell in love with it when I read it.
Yeah, the card's kind of nuts.
I think it's more than a
Just
meme, dude.
yeah, I know. I just said it for the meme because it's like you play a land, you discard a card. Bummer. But there is so many ways to increase that because you'll be playing multiple lands, and then
Yeah.
you'll be having a lot more mana than all of your opponents. It's just
Well, most of the time when you're playing this card, like everyone wants to cast their commander as quickly as possible, but essentially you want to play Flubs when you're empty-handed.
mm,
So you are like your starting hand, you're always having like these cheap cards, you're dumping your hand as soon as you can. So that way you can start with the shenanigans almost immediately. And just like simple effects with like fetches and like Crucible of Worlds where you can play lands from your graveyard or other kind of effects like that. Being able to play lands from the top of your library, it's just the list goes on and on with the
mhm.
possibilities.
I think what David mentioned is, I wish they were here right now to talk about it, but you would mulligan aggressively and literally keep 2 land hands or 3 land like, and that's it. You would just do your mulligans 5 times, 6 times on purpose because you want to start the game with nothing in your hand. And I thought that was
Yeah,
really interesting because it's a very
I like that.
weird way to play the game.
mulliganing on purpose. That's
Yeah.
Flubs the Fool.
Yep.
I'm just gonna mulligan down to 2 cards. We're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's 2 lands, then, or no, at least 3 land. I mean, I don't know. It's a
Yeah, just
weird
keep your
strategy, but it's there.
3 colors. Cast your
Yeah.
commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Um, I don't know if I would build it personally, but I do see the potential there.
Yeah. I see it too. Kind of hurts
Let's
my
go ahead
head.
and exactly right. There's a lot of hoops. Why is there a lot of hoops?
No, it's just more like a lot of thinking.
Well, there you go. Let's think about this then. What is the grades? Let's move on.
I mean,
A.
yeah, Steven says A. I'm not gonna say it's for the memes. I'll say it's a B still. I respect it.
I still respect it too. It is getting a B from me though. Flubs the Fool gets the average grade of a B. Let's move on to a lizard. It's Gev Scaled Scorch. It's black and a red for a 3/2 legendary creature, Lizard Mercenary. It's got Ward, pay 2 life, and it says other creatures you control enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. It also says whenever you cast a lizard spell, Gev Scaled Scorch deals 1 damage to target opponent. I actually went ahead and built this deck. I am planning to bring it to MagicCon Vegas. If you see us there, say hello and sit down at the table with us and we'll play a game. And I'll bust out Gev if you want. If you wanted to see the deck I made, check the description as well. This card's interesting. I thought, because I said this in the video of the deck tech, but I like dinosaurs, and these are baby dinosaurs. They're lizards, right? And
Semantics, sure.
I feel like they're just like poking your opponents, just being real annoying. Is this the most powerful commander you've ever seen? Absolutely not. Because as much as I would love it to deal damage to each opponent, it only does it to 1. So that's a downfall. This is a very fun deck to bring to a casual table, and I'm here for it. And I love the fact that it's other creatures enter with additional +1/+. It doesn't even have to be lizards. So if you wanted to build it not lizards, you could do that too.
Yeah. I like how you said that. It's a ton of fun at a casual table, and I completely agree.
Yeah, I
It's,
think you don't
yeah.
really need to even build it as a lizard deck. I mean, this is Rakdos. You're hitting your opponents all the time for pinging damage.
Mm-hmm.
This is easily going to put 3 counters on your creatures until somebody's gone, and then it'll do 2 and then 1.
Exactly. And that's kind of how I built it. Like I built it in a bunch of different kind of pings, but I built it really heavy with lizards too, because I did want to take advantage of casting lizards and pinging people with our commander. Granted, it doesn't make commander damage happen that way, but I think it's still just, like I said in the beginning, just a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy this card.
What, baby dinosaurs? Like, that's just
Baby
not even
dinosaurs.
close to being real, but hey, I like it.
Yeah, dinosaurs, big, massive threats at the table. They just come in, deal a whole bunch of damage. Lizards just kind of ping. Pew, 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 pew.
Lizards just do push-ups on the ground, dude.
That is true. let's move on to the grades. I will give Gev. It's got a warm spot in my heart. I know it's probably just a C, but for me, it is getting a B.
I like
I
that
don't
you.
think it's a C at all. I think it's a B.
Whoa.
Wow. Well, I was gonna say I like how you prefaced that it was just for you, but I still think it's just a C, honestly.
Fair. Well, between the three of us, Gev gets the average grade of a B.
Wild.
And the final legendary creature we are talking about today before we get to part 2 in another video is Glarb, Calamity's Augur. It's black, green, blue. For a 2/4 legendary creature, Frog Wizard Noble. It's got Death Touch, and it says you may look at the top card of your library anytime. And you may play lands and cast spells with mana value 4 or greater from the top of your library. It has another ability where you can tap him. Travail 2.
Ooh, I actually like that.
Great card.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Typically,
Yeah.
you look at the top card of your library and you're like, damn it, that's a land. You can get it out of
Tap
there
your
now.
commander, get it away. Yeah.
Yeah. Really good card.
And
I
also,
mean, there's a ton of versatility with this card.
Hell
it
yeah.
is this card's pretty nuts to me because Shane, you said you look at the top card, you go, damn, it's a land. Guess what? It also says you can play lands from the top of your library.
Well, then, if it's land, then you're like, damn.
That's true.
I mean, the really cool thing is the piece of text that says cast spells with mana value 4 or greater from the top of your library.
I
So something that you could do that's really fun is you can put spells that cost a lot but have a second kind of like, cast trigger. So instead of using the mana for that spell, you can sacrifice a creature or something like that. You can do that from the top of your library with Glarb. Another really fun kind of mechanic is using those MDFC lands. So, you want a land for that turn, you can use the land, or if you want the spell that's on the other side and you can cast that spell because it's going to be a higher CMC cost. I mean, there's so much flexibility with Glarb.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, another thing that Shane you absolutely love is Dredge. Dredge is a
absolutely love Dredge.
great another direction to take this deck because it's got that black pip and you're surveilling. Just go ahead and pitch stuff into the grave, man. This card can be a combo deck.
It can be a lot of things. Like Steven said, it's very, like, there's a lot of avenues you can go down with this guy.
Oh
It's
yeah,
got Death Touch, and it's a bummer, though, because you need to tap him to do the surveilling, but, I guess you can have
You
our
just
cake and
do
eat it
it.
too.
Yeah, you just keep it up, just as protection. Like you don't want to swing at me, otherwise I will block.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
and then
just,
you just
I mean,
gotta-
I don't mind the fact that it's got the tap to surveil. You just do it at the person that's right before you on their end step, and you're fine.
That's true. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the final grade for this card. Shane, what are you giving it?
I'm giving Glarb a good old B.
Glarb B for me too.
I mean, I think I'm going to give his Royal Moistness an A, actually.
Okay.
That's right. This is Royal Moistness. I forgot that was the nickname for Glarb. Glarb gets the average grade of a B. And that is going to do it for us today. If you guys liked that video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You don't want to miss out on part 2 because that is coming very soon right after this video. Check the description for all of our links to our social media accounts, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, @GuysThatMagic for each one. Comment down below. Did you guys agree with these grades? Maybe you disagreed with these grades. Always interested to hear you guys' other opinions on these because sometimes we miss. So we're not perfect. Let us know. And on the screen right now, those are all of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you guys so much for your added support. It really does mean everything to us and the world. If you guys wanted to check out what they're seeing, which is not here on YouTube, check the link for our Patreon in the description as well and consider subscribing. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.